to Apothecary After Dark. Hey everybody, we're here with another episode of Apothecary After Dark. I am Dina.
And I'm Dani. Hello.
And we are talking about something that's not only very near and dear to us, but also drives us just a little bit crazy.
Yes.
At times. And that is manifesting. Almost every single person, except maybe like a very small collection of human beings on this earth, would like to have something more in their lives. So either like a better job, a better paying job, more money. You know, especially nowadays, things are really expensive, inflation, food bills, oh my God. So like everybody's feeling a little bit tight and a little bit squeezed. I don't know how you feel about this, but I find people in spiritual, metaphysical woo spaces that are going after what I would consider to be low-hanging fruit of the fears of people that are like, I'm going to channel my grandmother, that are on the balls of their asses.
Yeah.
And struggling to make ends meet. And it's really, if you're manipulative, you can get people to buy into your program, buy into your service by promising that.
Well, you got to watch out for predators too that aren't trying to just get you into a feed cycle,
a loop,
where they just keep promising things that they're going to get you there, and you just keep like paying more towards things. That stuff drives us crazy. So,
have you ever seen a testimonial where people are like, I signed up for your class, and just because I signed up to your class, I found I got a check for $1,000. They owed me taxes, and $1,000 came in. And then the person giving the class is like, that's because you signaled to the universe that you were ready to be abundant and to receive. So because you were in the energy of it, that's why. I was like, what?
Yeah, that's not how life works. And it drives us crazy because we do have people come in and they tell us about predatory practices that they've befallen, and it really upsets us because we do operate with integrity, and we're like, listen, if anybody tells you you've been hexed or somebody put the maluki on you have a curse on you, and give me a couple $1,000 and we're going to make you this remedy so that you're going to be, it's just not, that's not it. It's not ethical, and it's very upsetting. So we want to talk about some solid practices of manifestation that you can do, and underlying all of that is practical steps and actions that need to be required in order to achieve anything. So there's ways that you can be very focused and methodic about that.
Yeah.
And there's proven success stories or paths that you can take, but underlying everything, if you want to achieve it, there's a way to set your sights and plan accordingly to accomplish that. And then the tools that we provide and that we work with are all here to support you in that journey. So it's not going to do it for you. It will perhaps enhance your energy, your focus, your intention, and serve as reminders to stay the course. And these are all tools to help enhance your experience, but it's not going to replace your efforts.
No, it's really interesting because, while, outside looking in, we have a great business, we have excellent customers, a beautiful community. We've been at this for 5.5 years. Most small businesses, most new businesses do not make it past like 2 years, let alone past 5, right? So if you look at percentages, it's huge that we've gotten this far. Every year we set our sights on something new. This year it's the podcast. Last year it was this bookstore. So every year that we've been in business, we've always added something to grow our business. And we do that by, consistently, staying in the energy of being open to new ideas and being open to hard work and not being attached to our egos of, well, we're this and this is how it has to be. We're very open and flexible, and we work very well with each other. But I also think that we've gotten here because we're really honest with people.
Yeah.
And Danielle's superpower, we had our palms read this past weekend. And Danielle's superpower is her very her ability to ground energy and her ability to stand in integrity. And so like never wanting to take advantage of somebody, especially when they're at a low point, because we've all been at low points. We've all needed more money. We've all felt strapped. We've all been scared, right?
Yeah.
So it's so important that we make sure that you guys are aware of like what to look out for.
Yeah, I think high tides raise all ships. So if we have knowledge, we like to share it. If we have tools that help us, we like to enable you to also have access to those tools. So we do that with our products, our crystals that all manifest and help foster abundance, and we'll explain why that works. Our formulated oils, as a Reiki master, I can help share some of the energy techniques like muscle testing that can be used to help prioritize what truly is in accordance with your highest and greatest good. Because anybody could say like, oh yeah, I just wish I had another $1,000. But like, really? Is that the priority? Or is it like the simplicity of getting rid and decluttering some of the stuff and some of the noise in your life that's actually feeding into negativity? So first comes the decluttering. Like what can be eliminated so that you can open up space for more abundance to come in. So, there's a lot more than just saying like, I'm going to win the lottery. There's things that are within your control and levers that you can play with to manifest what those goals are and what those blessings are. And how to create and establish stronger boundaries of what is not in alignment with your highest and greatest good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when people come in and they're like, I want to manifest, I need abundance, it's like if you're always chasing money, which is really what most people are asking for, is they want money. For like, there's some people want like a other level, and we consider abundance to be very different things. Like we think abundance of relationship and love and of gratitude. For me, I always want to, feel content and not feel stressed and like on this like never ending, treadmill of the next acquisition, because that's like a horrible way to live. If you're never satisfied with what you have, you're never going to be satisfied with anything. And, but like a lot of times, again, like I said, I'm not going to discount the fact that like people are in a real pinch, like, and that's why we have like all these abundance crystals here, because people really do ask like, what's going to bring me money? And, I've heard so many things along my way in this, on this path. I've actually had people say to me before we opened this shop, I don't know when the $10,000 a month goal was like the benchmark thing, and like
it's used with like a lot of coaches. I know, like a benchmark.
$10,000 a month. It's always been like this thing. It's like if you want to get $10,000 months, you need to spend, on yourself and get this coach, because if you're not signaling to the universe haven't you seen like people that do that?
I also worked in a corporate career where, I was operating at that level and my soul was dead. I was empty. I was depleted. I was unhappy. I felt like I had golden handcuffs.
So did you feel abundant?
I did not feel abundant. I felt like I was dead inside. And that is not how I define abundance. An abundant life, in my definition, is the joy and the blessings. And I think of the crystal citrine, which I pulled some here. This is citrine, and this is citrine, and this is citrine. And I'll talk about the differences between these. But it's derived from the word citron, which means lemon, which is the sun. It's effervescent. It's blessings. It's sunshine. It's how you feel when those sun rays are on your face. It's just a high vibration of peace and joy and abundance. That is a full life. That's like the 10 of Cups card in tarot.
Yeah.
But you can have monetary assets, and it still leaves so many people empty, which is why there is such an epidemic of drugs and alcoholism and high blood pressure and cancer and heart conditions and people just burning out and dying. And it's causing physiological conditions that are all resulted from chasing that dragon of material wealth. Yeah. Because it's FOMO, and social media just feeds the perception that you need to keep up with the Joneses. Like, no, a simple life can be very abundant if you're surrounded by people that you love and you have, a safe shelter and, simple lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's very unique to each person, but I want to, put that to rest and just think it's not just monetary gain. Though I do believe that I personally don't think that money is evil. I think people can do really crappy things in the name of money.
Or in the pursuit of it.
But it can make life very easy if you have money.
I think, as I'm listening to you talk about, how you felt in your corporate career, what I really got out of it was, I think the first question we need to ask ourselves when we're manifesting or we're trying to make a change in our lives is, what do I want for me? What will make me happy? Really you, like really you. And you can't say a $10,000 a month is going to make you happy, because what are you going to buy with that $10,000? So what's going to make you happy? Is it a safe and secure home? Because some people don't have that. Is it having, peace of mind that your kids have lunches and you could have a little maybe time freedom, so you can run after school and pick them up and you don't have to worry about getting in trouble with your job. Like, to have these open conversations with yourself honestly. Yeah. Taking away the social constructs, the social media pressure. What does your happy life look like?
And I think
then you can make it.
I think that's beautifully said. So I think it's critical, first and foremost, to start journaling. And even if you're not somebody who journals, I think really sit down and think long and hard about if money was no object, what would be your ideal situation? Mm-hmm. Would you live in New York on Long Island? Would you have a place in Ireland? Like, would I have a vacation home in Arizona? Would I work half the year? I'm the type of person that I still enjoy working very much. I love what I do now. I think I would be bored if I didn't work. But to find what that looks like. Not everybody's the same. Some people really enjoy and find it very fulfilling. But some people just want to be home with their families. What truly think deep down in your gut, dream, play, imagine. What does that look like in your imagination? And there's no limitations. Right. And define that and really picture it in your mind's eye.
How does it feel?
Right. What is that feeling? If you were to achieve that, would you have contentedness in your heart? Would it reduce stress, knowing that you have security or financial ability to pay for your kids' college? What does it look like for you? Not what anybody else thinks, because they're not paying your bills. They're not living your life.
Right.
They don't know what's going on. They don't know what's going on behind your closed doors. No matter what you post on social media, nobody knows. That's the big, guess what? Nobody really knows. So you need to do what is true in your heart for you, free of judgment, because it doesn't matter. So once you get really honest with yourself, that's when you can just start envisioning it and meditating on that and going to that safe vision. So one of my first tattoo ever is on my wrist right here. It's covered by my bracelets, but it's an arrow. And I got it on a whim one day, around 40. And I just was so depleted. And I go, that's it. I got to go. And I just didn't even tell my family. And I just went to the tattoo and I got a tattoo of an arrow right here. And people are like, oh, it took 2 days for me to reveal it to them. And they go, well, what do you mean you got a tattoo? What's the arrow? And I said, it's my true north. So despite all of the obstacles, despite all of the hurdles, an arrow needs to be pulled back in order to, take aim and be propelled into the future. So I had the vision of where I wanted to go. And that was out of my circumstance, but I had a vision of what I wanted. So I was going to overcome all of the challenges that I was facing and set my sights on the future, because I knew I was being propelled toward that goal and toward that vision.
So important.
And as long as I had that vision, I kept my eye on that prize, the eye on, then every step I took was in alignment with that. There may be some detours, but I knew where I was going. Directionally, how can you get there if you don't have the vision of where you're going?
Yeah.
And therein, I believe, lies the truth and the core of successfully manifesting.
Yeah, it is. That is a success. That's how you have to manifest. I mean, I remember I would also journal. I still journal. I'm not a daily journaler. I use my journal as a way to work through difficult things in my life that I need to wrap my head around. So most recently, Danielle and I both went through something where we lost somebody that we thought was a very good friend of ours, and it was a little bit difficult. And so I need to process that.
Yeah.
And I process that through journaling. And I create in my journal a safe space where I know nobody's going to read it, nobody's going to see it. So I could really start to pick apart why I feel the way I feel. Why do I feel shame in some ways? Where have I felt that shame before? What part of this was me? What part of this was them? How could different things be perceived? If I see it this way, what does it look like? I almost I'm take things in my journal, I'm turning it all different ways. And I did that right before we created this space, before we created the Amityville Apothecary. I didn't have maybe as clear of a vision as Danielle. I knew I wasn't happy. I knew I was really lost. I had lost my job that was very important to me, that really filled me up. And I was bereft. I think I cried on the floor of my kitchen and did yoga for 7 to 8 months. My husband was very patient with me. I was literally a mess.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting at this, I was at one of those parties. Oh my God, don't you hate when people invite you to the oils party? I was at it's no offense to I'm not trying to I love oils. I love some of the very good oil blends from the oil companies that you can only get from your friends. But sometimes your friends invite you to these parties and you're obligated to go because you don't want to hurt their feelings, or maybe it's just a Libra problem because we're people pleasers. So you show up, and I didn't know that it was more than just a them actively selling me thing. There was a technique that somebody had taught them called I don't know. It had something to do with emotional freedom. I was sitting in somebody's kitchen table. I didn't know if they were trained, and I didn't know what the oils were going to do. Plot twist, nothing at that point. But brutal. It was a little bit, but the woman was I'm going to help you get clear on what's holding you back.
I thought I was buying oils.
Right. So now I'm sitting at our kitchen table, and she's asking me these questions. And what really she was attempting to do was do a little bit of psychological shadow work, counseling without a degree and probably proper training that she read somewhere in a manual and got a certificate of after an hour and a half of sitting. Well, anyway, the point of this very long story is she was asking me what do you see for your life? What do you see for your life? What do you see for your life? And I was crying because I couldn't come up with what I could see for my life. All I could come up with was how I wanted to feel in my life. And that was at least a place to start, but nobody told me that that was a place to start.
That's very powerful, actually. How you will feel, how you want to feel in your life is critical. Because yes, the vision, but you might not be you might not have the details of what that looks like, but you know how you want to feel. And I knew that if I stayed in that corporate rat race at the pace that I was going to be burnt out and depleted the rest of my life, and I was never going to get out. And I was dead. I was dead. My soul was dead. I said, I just don't care if I give up all of this, because a house is not a home if I don't feel loved. And I don't care how successful people think I am if I am miserable and I am just a cog in the wheel going from point A to point B to point C to back to point A. And it's just, it's existing. It's not living. So I wanted to feel simplified and at peace. And I wanted that tranquility of not having to commute 3 hours every day of my life just to get to and from work and travel all around and not see my family. I knew that I just wanted simplicity. For me, that was an abundant life.
Yeah.
And you were right. And that's how you wanted to feel. You wanted to feel safe. You wanted to feel secure.
And I wanted, you know what I wanted? I wanted this. I wanted to be in a day-to-day where I was talking to people like this. I just wanted those relationships with people. Like, that was my most important part. It was the feeling of, the conversation and the interpersonal connections with the people, which we have in our beautiful community. Yeah. But that was what I held on to when I couldn't see the details. So like there's different ways of getting into it, but what's the one thing that you can't not do if you're trying to change your life or manifest something is you need to be honest with yourself. And if you are journaling, or if you're thinking because you don't want to write it down, and you're going to take these suggestions to heart, and you're like, Danielle and Dina said, what do I want my life to look like? And you're saying like, well, I want to live have this kind of house and this kind of car. I want you to ask yourself why. Why do you feel like you need these things to feel important? Why do you feel that you need these things to be successful? And listen, the normal life constructs of wherever you live are always going to apply. You're likely going to have to work. You're going to have to pay to have a roof over your head. You're going to have to pay to have food in your refrigerator. Like, we can't wave the magic wand and take away like the society in which we live. It's how we live. This is not the conversation for the horror or benefit of capitalism. It's the construct in which we live, and we have to operate within it.
Well,
right?
You bring up a good point, and I remember the conversation that we had. I was doing, just to like fuel my soul, I was doing the astrology classes again just to reinvigorate my interests. I also was taking the Reiki classes because I knew that I wanted to help myself and others because it benefited me so much. I wanted to help other people. You and I had a conversation. We said, okay, well, we want to be part of the solution of helping people. Yeah. So, and then once we decided that, the following week, the storefront came together, and that's how everything manifested. So I think once you're in alignment and clear on what you want to achieve, the universe will present you opportunities for you to take action on.
Danielle was on her hands and knees on Thanksgiving, basically sanding the floor so it could be revarnished. Because like when you start a business, you don't have a lot of money unless you have like, the unlimited financial backers. Must be nice, not pointing at anybody specifically. So we were like, so she was coming over to my house for things. I was at my house cooking the turkey, and she was like,
let me get this done.
Yeah. And we did put in so much of our sweat equity into this business. And so much of it was hands-on, which I think, shows to the details. But like, I would say like the most critically important thing for you, if you're like, I'm not happy in my current circumstances, I want to begin to take steps to change my life, is getting brutally honest with what you want and why you want it, and why you were doing what you were doing, and who told you you had to do those things in that way. The crystals will help support the energy of that. But again, this citrine was not sanding the floor on Thanksgiving night. It would be so amazing if we can get them to do that, but we haven't figured it out yet.
The subtle energies of crystals will support you. That's just one technique to help in the tools. We have tons to help. But really, I love the act of putting pen to paper. I find it extraordinarily cathartic to get it out of my brain and express it onto paper. I think that that's really important in terms of energy. It does. It moves the energy because it starts bringing it into realization of the earth. Yes. Mm-hmm. So that's taking that spiritual message and manifesting it down onto paper, which then starts the creative process. So I think if you can get into the habit, if it's lists, if it's just like a blurb of a thought, keep with it, be consistent, and then soon it will start keeping your energy focused on moving forward toward that goal.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to take action on the opportunities that are presented. I think that's key at the core of manifestation.
And listen, if you start seeing some crazy, it seems too good to be true stuff, and you're like, should I do this? Just ask us.
Yeah.
We will give you our honest and open thoughts on everything. And it's not about like, maligning anybody, whatever, but like, we'll say like, is this something like, and we'll have a real conversation about it. So like, we're always here for you, I guess, is our point.
And always trust your gut, because nobody knows better than you.
That is true.
So that's our advice. It's a brief talk, but we're open at continuing the conversation. We would love to hear from you. Does this make sense to you?
Yeah.
Does it resonate? Do you have examples of how your manifestations have come to fruition? We would love this to be an ongoing conversation.
Right, places you're getting stuck, let us know.
Yeah.
And of course, if you have any other suggestions for us for future episodes, we'd love to tackle them for you. Maybe debunk some things, solve some issues. Let us know. We're available on social media, really everywhere at amityvilleapothecary.com. I'm saying amityvilleapothecary.com there also, but at Amityville Apothecary. Remember, we will never solicit you for a reading on any of the social medias. So just, stay vigilant, use your discernment there. And thanks again for watching another episode. We'll see you again soon.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks so much for listening to us today. We look forward to connecting with you again soon, so be sure to come back for the next episode.
And make sure to follow us on social media. It's the fastest way you can get in touch with us at Amityville Apothecary, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. And of course, subscribe to this podcast. We are eternally grateful for your support.